Now, Peggy, Joe Biden kept national security documents from his time as vice president in his garage. They weren't declassified. A vice president has no power to declassify. Barack Obama kept classified documents, but then when Hillary Clinton, I made this point last night, was Secretary of State, she kept a private email server against the rules of the State Department. When she was later called out for that, her staff deleted 30,000 emails that she decided were not relevant before she handed over the email collection. Now, many of the emails on her insecure private server contained classified or confidential material relating to security. James Comey, the then director of the FBI, well, he criticised Hillary Clinton, but said no reasonable prosecutor would take the matter to court, so he let her off with a warning. Peggy, how do American people square up to all of this?
Well, you made so many good points, and I would only add one more thing. Joe Biden actually has documents from when he was a senator. And that, in a way, is one of the biggest crimes of all, because a vice president would have access to taking home classified documents to review overnight. A senator does not have that privilege. They are only allowed to view certain documents in a SCIF in the Capitol, where they're secured. They have to sign in, they have to sign out. They're not allowed to take anything home. So how he even took those documents is really astounding. But to your point, what do the American people make out of this? And I think Donald Trump's stop at Cafe Versailles shows that he's also going to try this in the court of public opinion. We've only heard one side. We've only heard the indictment side. We haven't heard Donald Trump's side, and he and his team are going to build that case and come back into court. But we wonder, are the American people following this? Do they care? I think most of them have already made up their mind. He's guilty of everything or he's guilty of nothing. But what does that mean to the presidential election? And really, what does it do to erode confidence in our formerly great government institutions? And that's why people look at government, and between the DOJ, the FBI, and even the White House, where the White House spokesperson was just given a warning about violating the Hatch Act. We see politicization of every branch of government, every part of government going against one person and one side. Mm-hmm. Donald Trump always says, they're not just coming after me, they're coming after all of you, and I'm standing in the way.
Yes, that's absolutely right. Peggy, Greg Sheridan is to get a third view on this. He's a reputable, highly regarded foreign editor and has spoken most probably during his career to every leading political figure in the world. He works here for News Limited with the Australian newspaper. He wrote recently, and this is instructive, quote, "I've read every book of the great reporter Bob Woodward. Half of their content," Greg wrote, "seems to be national security secrets given to him by presidents, former presidents, and their senior officials." And Greg says theoretically almost every one of them could conceivably have led to prosecution of somebody. Now, Greg Sheridan knows the foreign political scene like few others. He said, "The prosecutions launched against Trump are a disgrace and a clear misuse of legal powers. Joe Biden is now using the power of the state to criminally prosecute his most likely opponent." Peggy, surely if Donald Trump is to be judged, or Boris Johnson, I said last night in Britain, that judgment should be made by voters.
Absolutely. And we don't mind that justice is equally applied. We mind when the scales of justice are tipped toward one candidate or one person and against the other. Government's being completely weaponized. Lady Justice is supposed to be blind, and we know that she's peeking under the blindfold, looking at whether you're a Republican or Democrat, and deciding then how justice will be applied. And it's not fair, it's not right, it's sad, it's scary, it's dangerous. And it has to stop.
Absolutely. I mean, Greg Sheridan further said, for the benefit of our viewers, by scheming politicians misusing the legal system or parliamentary rules to prevent democracy.